Real Country with Robert Miguel.
KVOU Sports with Drew. Presented by Chicago Title.
104.9 Coyote Country.
That's right, time again for KVOU Sports with Drew.
Sports
Drew
with
Kimball.
Drew, yeah.
Chicago Title in the house. What's
up, Robert? Hey, Chicago Title. You can reach us at 113 Northeast Street, Valdez, Texas. Wynn Dubose, branch manager, 830-333-7050. Doing all right, Robert?
I'm
Always.
great,
Thanks
man.
for having me here.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, my friend. Kind of some big stuff. I'll cover some scores real
Okay,
quick.
okay. Get the scores
the
on.
Spurs. Beat the Mavs 112-105, March
Ooh,
12th.
hiss.
I know.
Ooh,
I'm
hiss.
sorry, my friend. I'm sorry.
I'm like the one guy in Uvalde.
You might be.
That
I'm
loves
not
the
going to lie.
Mavs.
You might be the Mavs guy. And it's got to be even worse whenever I have to announce it on the air, too. And then they beat the Bucks 121-114 on March 10th. Thought I'd get that stuff in
Well,
here.
you know, in my defense, the Mavs we're used to losing at this point. So.
Yeah, it has not been a good season so far. I know they've got a losing season. Spurs are sitting at 39-29 right now, so I think they're sixth in their conference right now. So we'll see if they can keep going. Some stuff, man. Some stuff. I don't know if you saw that Russell Westbrook blow up on the Fan in Utah.
No, I don't know what you're talking about right now.
Well, first off, let's just say, if you're at any kind of sporting event, actually just in life, if you have anything to say as far as racial slurs or anything, keep it to yourself.
Well, yeah.
That doesn't need to be public knowledge. If you're a racist, person, it's just change your ways. But first off, don't be yelling at pro athletes. You need to go see the video.
Okay.
He went off on a fan in Utah, and he's now been fined $25,000.
Okay, hold on. Now, you're talking about the athlete was throwing racial
No,
slurs, or
not at all.
the fan was?
So, as far as the story goes, but apparently it's been corroborated and stuff. But bad deal. Apparently, he's yelling some pretty mean stuff. The fan has been banned from all jazz
Rewind
stuff.
just a little bit, because
Yeah.
I don't know this guy. We're talking
Yeah,
about an athlete.
Russell Westbrook.
I'm assuming he's a black guy?
Yes.
Okay.
He's a guard for Oklahoma City. Guy is unbelievable. Very good at his sport.
Okay.
His name's Russell Westbrook, and he's been fined $25,000. Apparently, they're at the game. He heard some stuff coming from one of these fans, and he started mouthing off to him back, which, I mean, I don't know if I'd be able to hold my tongue either at that point. So he went off on the guy, and it was filmed, obviously, so it's been blasted everywhere. Had some pretty heavy language, so if
Wow.
listener discretion is advised in that one. But that fan has been banned, which rightly so. There's no place, no place in that.
But I think you use the word fan there loosely. I mean, just because you show up at a game,
Yeah, that's a
doesn't
great
make you a
point.
fan,
That's a
you know?
great point. That just makes you a bad person
Right.
at that point. Moving on, man, I got some kind of big stuff happening
you got to
in the
talk about
NFL.
that cowboy that quit and smoking pot. Did you get anything on that?
No, I didn't.
So-
I must have missed that.
So apparently, who was that Dallas Cowboy that got in trouble last week?
Yes. Golly, I can't think of his name. I don't have my notes in front of me. Yes, he just straight up and quit.
Well, I want to say it's
must
him.
have
I
missed
don't have
that.
the full story. So apparently, he got online on Facebook or YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
He quit the Cowboys
Okay.
and smoked a J.
just
like he lit
up on air and just
publicly quit.
Well,
apparently, that's what I'm hearing him. I could be
that's
wrong.
the way you want to go out, man. then okay, more power to you. I guess if he's got it, well, best of luck in the future, man. Well, that's one way to announce the retirement.
Yeah, I guess
I
so.
can think of a few classier ways, but if that's the way you want to go out, that's all right.
And if I'm spreading misinformation, we'll clarify next week.
We're probably going to need to eventually have a corrections department on this show because
Right.
I know I missed some stuff. So
you can go to my Facebook page at Robert McGill Radio, and any corrections or misinformation will be clarified.
yeah,
there.
he'll pass them on to me since I don't have Facebook.
And
So-
you are a lucky man, sir.
Yeah, I
You're a
know.
lucky man.
Goodness. So the big news, though, Robert, is what the Browns have done. Man, it's kind of nuts. They've been kind of the laughing stock for the last few years. Actually, it's been much longer than that. Since they came back, they have not had a really good team. But I spoke about how they signed Baker as their quarterback. He's so ultimately they're acquiring all this talent for this rookie QB, trying to build around him. So their defensive line is going to be super dangerous. They got defensive end and Garrett. They added Sheldon Richardson, defensive tackle, and Ogunjobi. If I mispronounce that, I apologize. Defensive end and Ogba. and their offensive positions is going to be nuts. They've got Baker as the quarterback, running backs in Chubb, Hunt, and Johnson, Jarvis Landry, and then the big one. I don't know if you heard, but Odell Beckham Jr., who's a huge superstar, was with the Giants. He signed with the Browns, so he's going to have Baker Mayfield as their quarterback throwing to OBJ, which is going to be nuts. They also got Antonio Callaway and Njoku as their tight end. They're young, rising, and could be the top dogs in the AFC North. And I have to give a shout-out to my good oracle, Javi Salinas, who gave me a ton of this information. He follows the lifeline of NFL stuff. But ultimately, it's going to be nuts with this next year. You have a team that hasn't done super great, and now
I was going to say, don't the Browns always suck?
They do.
I mean,
they
like,
do.
pretty much always.
Yes,
like
they
all
have,
our
it's
lives.
Been been that joke of the Browns.
So
You know
now
what I
they're
mean?
now they're buying a team again. Like
Man,
we kind of talked about last
yes,
week.
exactly.
Right?
They went out and they paid for some stuff, and they're really building around this Baker Mayfield, who's that quarterback. He was out of OU. The dude's next level good, and I think that next year is going to be scary to watch, especially if you are AFC North with them in it now is going to be stacked. It's going to be tough, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that ends up. Moving on, what else do I got here? Falcons and Broncos are going to play in a Hall of Fame game on August 1 to open up the preseason. I thought that's pretty neat. They usually have these games to where they have these preseason games and then they do the induction ceremony, which this year is going to be a really cool one. You got Champ Bailey, former Broncos cornerback, who's just been a staple with the Broncos. Kansas City Chiefs and Falcons tight end Tony Gonzalez. The guy is one of the greatest in the game. Super humble, unbelievably good person. I'm really happy that he got in. Thought that was pretty neat. Switching over to baseball.
Hold on.
Yeah, hit me.
Because the big news, isn't it? Beasley leaving the Cowboys.
Yeah, from what I understand.
Okay, so he got signed to the Bills, right?
Yeah.
Or was it is it Buffalo?
But I believe it was Buffalo. We might need to fact check that.
Let me check on that real quick. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, I believe.
But that's kind of a big deal. I
Yeah,
mean,
Beasley,
how is
'cause
that? I
he's
mean, he
been
was what, wide receiver?
Yeah, and he's been a big deal with them. Real fast guy, not the biggest guy, but kind of, those guys like him, those smaller white guys that are really quick off the ball and stuff. Him and Danny Amendola and stuff. They've been really good. And I know for Cowboys fans, it's going to be a heartbreaker to see him go. But you know how it is, business. And
Yeah.
guys have to move on, and sometimes the money's not right, and sometimes the fit with the team isn't right anymore.
Here's a little bit off the web. Cowboys were unlikely to bring back wide receiver Cole Beasley for the price that he wanted, so the former
Yeah.
Dallas pass catcher is inking a 4-year deal with the Buffalo Bills for $29 million.
Good for him,
$14
getting
million
paid.
guaranteed, according to various reports.
Yeah.
Second on the team in receptions, 65, and receiving yards, 672
That's just where
in 2018.
That's where some of that Jerry Jones mindset I don't quite understand. I should probably go back and look at the numbers and talk with my oracle again and see if that is a good move. But I know it's going to really hurt
it's going to set
Cowboys
us back,
fans.
right?
Yeah, and it's tough, especially it's almost sad to say that the Cowboys might be in the rebuilding process. But with Dak back there, you can never. He's unpredictable.
No, not the R word again.
Well, I know. It's tough to say, but at this point, I think we have to kind of accept the fact that we might be in that situation.
We got to change the term from rebuilding year to rebuilding decade.
Yeah,
something
well,
like-
shoot, 2 decades, I guess. Sadly, please don't blow me up in the comments for
No, it's
knocking
true.
anybody.
It's true.
Tough deal. Move on to some baseball. CC Sabathia threw 20 pitches. He had a heart procedure back in December. He had a stent put in because they found some blockage in one of his arteries, and he's actually coming. This is his last year. CC Sabathia has been an amazing guy through for Cleveland. Big left-hander. He's not a small guy at all. He's had some knee problems on his right knee, which is his landing knee, which is really tough on pitchers and stuff. And I'm really happy to see. I'm not a Yankees fan, so let me just say that first off. I do not like the Yankees as a whole. I like a lot of the players. I think that they have really good, neat players to watch. But I do not like the fact that they just go buy teams. But I'd like to see him have a really good season. It's his last season. He's already announced his retirement after this season, and I think that I hope to see him go out on top. He's probably a future Hall of Famer. It's close. It's tough to say, and then last thing I'll cover is Tim Tebow. I know he's everybody's favorite topic. I like the guy.
I like Tebow
I do
too. Yeah,
I think that he's a good guy, real stand up and stuff. He gets a lot of flack just because moving from football into baseball. Well, the Mets have reassigned him to minor league camp, so that means he won't be starting off because he's been kind of a bubble guy. Well, I say bubble guy. Not necessarily, but he's such a big deal. It's almost it seems like it started off as a publicity stunt, Robert, but it turns out that the guy can actually play a decent amount. He hit, what did he hit? 267 and 1 RBI in 8 spring training games. So they moved him down after, so he'll be moving to the spring training camp because they're separate camps. So you'll have an MLB, the big ones, and then you'll have all the minor league guys.
Tell me this. Why do you think people respond so, I guess, negatively to when an athlete trades in one set of cleats for another set of shoes? I think that most people will understand that most youths that whether they're teenagers or college students, most athletes play more than one sport.
For sure.
It's not uncommon.
Yeah, and especially whenever you're such a high caliber.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And if you're athletic, you're athletic. I mean, it's like when I hear that somebody plays guitar and bass or the piano, I'm not shocked. Like, oh my gosh, you went from playing the guitar to the piano? That's
you're
insane.
in one band playing lead guitar, and then one band you're playing the keys.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it
you look
doesn't
at it
make
like,
sense.
that's a multi-talented person. They have more than one skill set within the same,
I think it comes down to people that are fans across the board. Like seeing Jordan not be in a Bulls uniform and then be in the minor leagues with the White Sox might be a tough deal. Even though if you haven't seen it, I recommend going and watching the 30 for 30 on Jordan. It's called, I think it's Riding the Bus or something like that. One of the great ones, and you have a lot of guys that say if he would have stuck it out, he could have maybe made it up to the bigs.
Right.
He was really starting to get his win. And if you go back and look at, obviously he had the speed to do anything he wanted on the bases, and he's an athlete, so he's smart. He's always been smart as far as the game goes and stuff. With Tebow, I think it's just one of those things people like to dislike the guy.
Right, yeah.
Because he is a nice guy. You don't see him going out and, acting a fool or doing anything crazy. He knew that his time up in the NFL was done. But he's an athlete and he wants to compete. So he got a shot and he was given it. And I think that he's done everything that he can do to play as good as possible. Baseball is hard. It's very, very hard to play. I mean, I played for a lot of years and it is not easy. And to see this guy have the success that he has, it makes me happy. I don't necessarily think that he deserves to be in the bigs just because of his name, but it's still a neat thing to see. I don't have a good answer for you. People like to be mad about dumb things.
Well, I think we're all skeptics and we all jump to the negative. Sure,
yeah. And
but again, it's that hater mentality, and it's like, well, who cares? I mean, obviously, the guy likes sports. The guy likes to be an athlete. Why wouldn't he like more than one sport? Why wouldn't he feel engaged and competing on a different field?
And he's taken to it. He's hit. What did he hit? Last year, he hit 273 with 6 home runs, 14 doubles, and 36 RBIs in 84 games for Double A Binghamton. So the guy put up decent numbers. I mean, like you get into the 300 range in minor league ball, Double A, you're moving up pretty quickly. Like the guy put up some decent numbers. He's got an arm, we know that, and he can run the bases a little bit. So I don't know. It's easy to throw flack at the guy anytime you see that, and you usually see it in people that are really supportive of one sport, like the NFL losing him or the NBA losing Jordan. So it's just a weird deal. That's all I got right now. I want to do some checking on some of the Cowboys updates, and I'll get back to you. And I definitely need to go watch that video of the guy announcing his retirement.
I hope I got that right. Yeah, as far as I know, they just have a video of him.
Oh, goodness.
He just quits, and then he lights up a J, and he says, "Peace out, y'all."
Golly, that is pretty funny. Well, as always, Robert, I appreciate you having me on here. You can reach Chicago Title 11. Golly, I went blank. 116 Northeast Street.
Put down the joint, bro.
Golly, right? Wynn Dubose branch manager, 830-333-7050. As always, thanks, Robert. Appreciate it.
I'm sure Wynn's going to appreciate that I said joint right before he said the company name.
I think it'll be all right.
I think he knows we're kidding. Once again, KVOU Sports and Drew.
Thanks,
sir.
Robert. We'll see you, buddy.
Real Country with Robert Miguel.
KVOU Sports with Drew, presented by Chicago Title.
On 104.9 Coyote Country.